Let's jump into it. NBA, we start, as we've discussed. Lakers have lost a few pieces with Avery Bradley opting out. Rajon Rondo hurt his thumb. He's surgery. He's out 6 to 8 weeks. Now, fan favorite Alex Caruso is coming to the rescue, telling the media yesterday he is ready to tackle the expanded role. Alex Caruso, they've had to tweak things here, and KCP can fill the void left by Rondo and Avery Bradley.
I'm going to say inbounds of that, man. I love Alex Caruso.
You do.
I do.
You do.
I just remember seeing him at the beginning of this season, back in November. Like, who's the bald, like the old dude that's out there for the Lakers? Looked like he was 38 years old. He's like 24. He just has a bad haircut.
Hasn't cut it yet either.
And he embraces it, man. But the dude's got serious athleticism, man. Dude's got a hop. You see him dunking on people. And he's got this aura about him that his teammates love. So I'm just because I like the guy, I want to say inbounds to this, man. I think they can fill the void.
I agree. I'm going to say inbounds because I like him, but I like him because at least pertaining to this question, I like his skill set too. Like there's underdogs that you like because you like underdogs.
Yep.
And then there's guys who are perceived to be underdogs who are actually a lot better than the average fan might think. And I think Caruso, even though we're probably past that point with him, more so a year or so ago, there was the average fan with Caruso. Who's this scrub? What is he doing in the NBA? No, not a scrub. He's got a weird haircut, as Tiki said, but he can play. And KCP's got some game too. He can light it. He can hit a couple threes a night. Not a horrendous defender by any stretch. Listen, here's the other thing that this does. My answer is inbounds. The other thing that this does too is when Rondo does eventually return, and they're saying Frank Vogel said that he will if they get far enough. Now you've empowered Caruso. You've expanded his role out of necessity, and that, provided he keeps that mindset and he doesn't relinquish any tenacity or confidence that he gains by having an elevated role, which I don't think he will, then now you have Rondo back, which is a good thing, but now you also have, in theory, a better Caruso back. So I say inbounds all around. I think it's a sensible take, and I like Caruso. I really do. They take the Dodgers 7 straight NL West titles, and they've gone to the World Series. We know back-to-back seasons here, but they've come up empty. And for that franchise, you got to win some World Series. You got to win some World Series. You have to. That's what it's all about. However, the team will have some major players hitting free agency coming up after the season. Justin Turner, who still rakes, even though he's been around. Remember, he was a Met initially. Justin Turner, he's got the beard. He's a .320 hitter. He hits. Jock Peterson's got some pop. I don't know if he's got a great role on this team, but he can hit. Mookie Betts, obviously, he's a stud, but he could be a free agent if they don't do anything now. Kiki Hernandez. So yesterday, Hernandez said, Alex Wood as well, Hernandez said that it felt like this could be their last dance season. All right, so this season is the Dodgers' last chance with this core group to win a World Series.
I mean, probably. It's just logical. All the names that you just rattle off, they're all not going to be there. The Dodgers have spent hundreds of millions every year to try to get to this elusive World Series title. Now, they've gotten very close, but they haven't gotten there. And eventually, even if this is the right group, something's got to change if they keep coming up short. So I think certainly that's the case. I mean, I don't love the use of the last dance analogy because of what the last dance actually was for the Chicago Bulls. It was the last of their 6 championships. This is like the first of hopefully the last one. It doesn't make any sense, right? I get what the interviewer was alluding to, but it's not the parallel. Just kind of it throws me off a little bit.
Okay, but your premise remains.
It's inbounds.
It's inbounds. Listen, I agree. I think this is it, and I'll extend it beyond the players. I mean, Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts better win something here. Because eventually there becomes a point where you win so many you almost become Mike D'Antoni. And I know that baseball is a very different monster. The October element of baseball is just inherently and wildly unpredictable. Generally in basketball, the better team wins. I would say very rarely, but we all know that's not really always the case with Major League Baseball. You might have an ace who's down. You might have a guy who just goes bonkers in a 7-game series, hits 5 home runs, whatever it might be. An error, a bad call, a couple of rain delays, things get wacky. He's won he won 106 games. He won 104 games, but he's yet to win the World Series. So forget about the players. If Dave Roberts doesn't win, not only will the roster be very different, plus Kershaw a year older, you'll probably have a new manager. So absolutely in bounds. I agree. However, while fans were required to wear masks upon entering the venue, they were allowed to remove them once they sat down. In or out, fans should have to wear masks in their seats once stadiums open back up.
I'm going to say
pre-vaccine.
I'm going to say out of bounds of that, BT, because I think as you saw last night at the All-Star race at Bristol, which is a short track, it's only half a mile around, but the stands are still big. It's not the 200,000. Charlotte Motor Speedway, but it is still a big enough stadium that even once you come in, you can be apart from one another. And so I think I'm going to say out of bounds. I don't think they should be required once they're at their seats, as long as they're in a safe environment with just their close people, family, or whoever they came with. So I'm going to say out of bounds of that. And I think it's something that can translate to the other sports. It's really uncomfortable to wear a mask for that long, you know what I mean, for 3 hours, 4 hours. And so if you can do it safely, then I'd say you should let fans do it safely.
Certain masks are much more uncomfortable than others, but I got you. To me, this is what I don't understand. This is just a common sense question. If you're going to let people in and they had their mask as they walk in, then I disagree. I believe that they should have to wear their masks the entire time, because now you're trusting that when they get up and go to the bathroom, when they're walking around the concourse, like if there's a rain delay and you're mulling around, you tell me everybody's going to put the mask on? The answer is absolutely not. I understand it's a pain in the behind. I get it. I have my mask hanging from my rearview mirror. When I went to the game with Colt yesterday, the high school games, we wore it, and when we were around people, and once we got to our space, we took them off. But that's us. I'm with my 5-year-old son. I'm not pounding 6 beers, and I'm not losing sensibility. And listen, this needs to be said. When people drink, think about, but I'm not going to go there. But just think about the dumb things people do when they're drunk. Think about the regrets that the average person has.
Good point.
Whether it's a hookup, whether it's getting behind the wheel of a car like an idiot. You know what I mean. Just put the mask. If you have to wear it in, keep it on. What is the damn difference?
Tune in next time for another edition of Inbounds or Out of Bounds with Tiki and Tierney.